I've spent 2021 curating and cataloging the companies, products, and services that help Salesforce customers deliver enterprise applications. Here is what I've learned. Let's get our arms around DevOps. It seems to be the latest Salesforce buzzword, and it has turned into a powerful word indeed. If you are doing DevOps today, that indicates you are managing how to build the means of production for your organization. If you want to exist as an enterprise in the digital domain, then you need DevOps to have the automation capabilities that delivers enterprise app updates and continuously improves app value. The origin of the DevOps concept started in 2007, when its main push was to find ways to obliterate barriers between app developers and system operators. Developers became frustrated with the time it took to iterate on software builds when dealing with operational teams. This diagram from Azure DevOps portrays it beautifully. It shows how better communication results in the collaboration and teamwork necessary to manage, develop, and deliver and operate a live application. It shows the main benefit of using DevOps, which is to have a mechanism that allows teams to respond quickly to user behavior. Another key to the success of DevOps is the idea of metrics and observability, and how that dovetails with agile management philosophies, such as tying metrics into objectives and key results. In fact, I'd say that DevOps and agile have been kissing behind the barn, and a new unified app production perspective is evolving, which I call DevOps 3.0. More on that in a bit. One reason why DevOps has gained prominence is because it represents the convergence of three huge business forces. First, Salesforce is now a business transformation platform, not just a CRM. Since the platform is strategic for many more businesses, executives need a governance harness and a better visibility into app production activities. Next, an all-pervasive force in modern information technology is the incredibly rich and diverse world of cloud-native computing. When engineers at Uber, Salesforce, Netflix, or a new startup need tools to build an online service from scratch, they are using cloud-native computing tools and services. Until 2017, Salesforce was largely a closed platform to the cloud-native world. Then, SFDX CLI was introduced, and that really made Salesforce DevOps take off. It allowed Linux scripts and cloud-native tools to now interact with the configuration information inside of Salesforce. That subsequently let cloud-native automation tools like Jenkins and Azure DevOps act as a command server in a release management pipeline orchestration scheme. I made this relationship classification system to help figure out if all the boxes are checked when you are building a continuous app delivery system in Salesforce. This diagram gives you an idea of the complexity involved in a Salesforce DevOps solution. So, the good news is we have better roadmaps for how to build a DevOps solution, but the bad news is there are lots of things to do and a lot of systems that need to be tied together. That is where a key software vendor like GearSet comes into play. Salesforce DevOps platform vendors are all working to check off these boxes for you, so they are worth a look if you are getting started. Now let's take a look at that mess of products and companies and reorganize them into this stack. This summary shows how Salesforce DevOps is first controlled by the governance functions, which collects metrics and data from the app production teams. Next, these teams of architects, developers, admins, business analysts, and constituents use a consistent set of automation and deployment tools to continuously optimize apps. One key thing that makes this different for Salesforce apps is the curious way in which we must manage metadata. The key function in Salesforce Devops is that metadata must be ingested, analyzed, queried, and dynamically updated. When updating a live org, an intelligent metadata system is the only way for an app production team to effectively work together. There must be intelligent metadata management of any DevOps platform in order to optimize your Salesforce release management processes. Now we are expanding the pyramid to show some of the functional layers in a full-fledged Salesforce DevOps solution, pretty much like what you get with GearSet. Here we can see some of the more familiar names and details that go into creating a full DevOps solution. I call it an industry map because if you go to the salesforcedevops.net site and go to the map section, you can basically click on any of these categories and see the companies that I've curated. Now let's explode this out some more. Ben McCarthy of Salesforce Ben and I worked together to design this periodic table of DevOps solutions, which will be published September 27th on his site. So you are getting a world premiere preview of this new infographic. You can see the categories I laid out in the ontology and map illustrations. If a company has a product in a category, it gets a badge. You can see the G symbol for GearSet showing up in multiple categories since they are a leading DevOps platform. So be sure to watch out for that article, which will come out the week after Dreamforce, or you can go to salesforcedevops.net right now to find these products and companies. So what is next for Salesforce DevOps? Well, there are some blank spaces in the Salesforce DevOps world right now that need filling in. First, we need better observability and metrics that go beyond application performance monitoring and the basics of security dashboards. We need user activity dashboards, performance monitoring, and better incident response management. Next, customers need to put on their cybersecurity big boy pants and start moving second-generation testing and application security into their DevOps pipelines. As we all know, studies have shown that fixing an outage versus fixing a bug in development is 100 to 1,000 times more efficient. We don't have time to delve heavily into this diagram, but I wanted to show how ultimately Salesforce sits alongside other application service providers like SAP or Oracle ERP Online. As systems become more intertwined, a need for a holistic view, which I call App DevOps, is emerging. This seems like a natural evolution as the need for multi-cloud orchestration increases. Some Salesforce-compatible orchestration and command servers already offer limited multi-cloud capabilities. As we get more into 2022, I think that management topics will continue to influence the DevOps conversation. I included a graphic from another recent article on the site where I show how agile and DevOps are converging into what we really need to think about, which is application value delivery. And I'm telling IT to stop telling their management that they need to adopt a DevOps culture. Instead, start telling management we need DevOps so management has the tools to figure out what is going on with digital projects. What seems to be happening is that IT projects should be managed more like how you manage your whole company, since just about every business of every kind needs to perform in the digital domain. DevOps shouldn't be seen as the mysterious cultural shift. Instead, DevOps should be seen as the way to make an agile, measurements-based management philosophy work for an enterprise. This should start the path to using the same tools to manage day-to-day business activities as for app production. I wanted to leave you with some links to articles on salesforcedevops.net you might want to reference. You can download the PDF of this presentation and to get the links to these articles using the QR code. So in summary, I see a lot going on in Salesforce DevOps. The top 5 platforms are servicing a lot of big, complicated clients. But there's also seems to be a lot of room for growth in the fat middle of the market. I hope the cloud-native world continues to be interested in including Salesforce in their offerings, because that should help broaden the appeal of Salesforce Devops. I don't see making decisions about how to move forward with DevOps solutions getting easier anytime soon. As you get a sense from the periodic table of DevOps solutions, if you choose to build a new solution from the ground up with cloud-native tooling, you can do it if you have the skills and it fits your needs. A homebrew DevOps solution can be a whole lot faster and more targeted than getting involved in a vendor solution. But if you don't have cloud-native experience, then the Salesforce-specific products from GearSet, Elements Cloud, and Provar are likely better choices.